IVM.
You know, when I was jotting down the mindsets for the A to Z of positive action, the alphabet X was obviously a blank spot. I mean, think about it. What's a word that starts with X and is also a mindset? So, I cheated. The letter X in the positive action deck stands for expect no more. Well, this very limiting letter gave me no choice but to play with the words and come up with a limitation we all struggle with: expectations. Welcome to another Positive Action Monday on the Positively Unlimited podcast, and get ready to break those heavy chains we spell as expectations. Attachment with detachment. Words of wisdom from one of my closest friends and an intuitive healer, Anata Meher. But what does that phrase even mean? Attachment with detachment? This is not only a difficult habit to build, but also a slightly tricky concept to explain. But I'm going to give this a try. To put it out there bluntly, we can want whatever we want. There are no limits on that wish list. But we cannot and must not expect to receive that which we want, how we want it, when we want it. I mean, the contradictions of this human experience. But here's the truth about expectations. They are nothing more than a distraction, a painful burden we don't need to be lugging around. Here's what we are doing when we weigh our wishes down with expectations. When we expect, we are living in the future, focusing on the outcome. Living it in our heads over and over again in all possible forms and shapes. Sometimes, these expectations hit the repeat button on the memories of the past, expecting things to be the way they used to be. But both are states of illusion. The past has no substance. It's just memories stored in our cells. The future isn't tangible either. It is nothing but a figment of our imagination right here, right now. So when we focus on expectations, we are focusing on illusions. And honestly, an illusion can only create disillusionment. I've said this in many episodes in different ways. When you want something, state it in one clear sentence. That is always the starting point. In fact, if you tune into last week's episode, W for Work Hard Consistently, I also talk about understanding what it will take for you to make your desires come true. But coming back to this episode and the desire you just wrote out, take a little time out and write down the expectations hovering around that wish. Let's just get it out. Say you want to buy a house, and at this time it's seeming like a distant dream. Write the desire in a clear sentence. Get specific. Remember, that's not the same as expectations. I want a 2 BHK in Andheri that has a view of the sea is being specific. But also that statement is a little wishful thinking kinds. Let's try and be a little more specific. So say it's I want to buy, or who knows, maybe be gifted, a 2 BHK in Andheri that has a view of the sea by October 2019. The reason why I am being specific about buying or being gifted is because the universe has a sense of humor. For example, I say that on my next trip I want to fly business class. Now maybe I'm thinking I want to earn enough to fly business class, but that's just a minor detail for the universe. So in all probability, I will fly business class, but it will be an upgrade sponsored by a loved one. Now there I am sitting in business class, happy I got what I wanted, but not happy enough because it's not paid for by me. What's important is to understand the core essence of your desire and express it accordingly. In my case, the essence was about earning well, about feeling financially strong, independent, and abundant. The want to fly business class was just the packaging around that core desire. Get it? So think, question, and then express your wishes. In episode 17, I talk about how we must question everything. And in that episode, I share some great tips on how to ask yourself the right questions. Make sure you give that a listen to fine-tune how you express your wishes. But coming back to expectations. Now I've gone and said I want to be able to afford a business class ticket with my hard-earned money on my next trip abroad. I further add a date to this wish, a specific amount, and if I have a destination in mind, I put that down too. But that's where I put a big full stop. Beyond this, I consciously choose to create a plan of action and focus on taking steps towards earning that amount that I've set my sights on. Here's where the shadow of expectations will begin to creep in. Every action I do, every step I take, my mind will have an outcome it will want to experience. Sometimes it will go as planned, and sometimes it won't. If I start entertaining all those thoughts about how it should be, I'll start dancing with my expectations, which is a complete waste of time and energy. A dance with expectations will almost always be out of step. I'll struggle to hold the rhythm because the tune of my heart that is beating to the present will be different from that of the mind that's living in the future or the past. The only thing that is in my control is what I can do. And hence I must consciously focus on the actions that I can take. Yes, each action will yield a result, and my next step will have to be adapted accordingly. But I must not get lost in how things will pan out eventually, or get dragged down by the weight of that very heavy question, when? So how can you detach from expectations? By training your mind to focus on action. Fuel yourself by celebrating small victories. Make note of milestones and reward yourself. Even the obstacles and the bad outcomes, be thankful for it. That's what standing in faith and holding on to your conviction is truly all about. So there you have it. The mindset to practice this week is to drop those expectations and to remember that the only thing that matters is your ability and will to go on. Keep moving towards your aspirations, one step full of conviction at a time. And before I sign off this episode, here's a quick reminder that all previous episodes are on the IVM app and website. Make sure you tune in. All the mindsets are in a way linked, and in every episode you'll realize that there's an added tip or tool in one of the other episodes. So make sure you explore the Positively Unlimited podcast whenever you tune into any one episode. If you have some feedback, suggestions, or want me to talk about specific mindsets, make sure you connect with me on Instagram. My handle is Positivity Angel. So here's me signing off. Catch you next Monday for another episode of Positive Action.
Long, long ago, not in Bethlehem, but in a place nearby, there was a wonderful birth of a huge show, which I like to call Cyrus Says, a show that encapsulates everything in human history, from the first Homo sapien to the last Homo sapien, who's traversed the entire world and then come back to India. This is a show which tells you everything about everything. If you want to know, avoid Google, come to us. It's called Cyrus Says. Get new episodes every Monday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts from. It's simple as A, B, oh God, what comes after that?
How aware do you think you are of your laws and rights? Do you look up to laws when you are caught up in situations? Do you know what your rights are when you're stuck somewhere bad? Well, here's a show that can help you move an inch closer to being aware of what your rights are. Tune into Know Your Qanoon with me, Amber Rana. This is a podcast meant to answer all your law-related queries. Catch Know Your Qanoon every week on the IVM website or the app or anywhere you get your podcast from.